Welcome to Chapter 1 of our Adobe Illustrator tutorial, Introduction to Illustrator. This is part 1, where we'll learn how to set up a new document. When you first open up Illustrator, it's going to come up to this home screen. I'm not personally a big fan of it popping up like this, so in a minute we'll disable that. I'm using the Adobe Illustrator 2020 version. And if you're using a little bit older version, that's okay too. None of the updates that Adobe made will really have any effect on anything that we're doing here today. If you do feel compelled to check out what's new, you can click this link that says what's new. And that will open up on Adobe's website, and it'll go through all of the changes that they've made to Illustrator, starting with the most recent updates and working their way back. As you can see on this home screen, it brings up recent projects you've worked on and a couple of templates here. You've got an option for more presets, but we're going to go ahead and just get rid of this screen. Under the Edit window, you're going to go down to Preferences and General. Now, if you're on Mac, you're going to go up to this Illustrator drop down, and that's where you'll find Preferences and then General, and it'll pull up this same window. I use both PC and Mac interchangeably, and so I will cover the few differences that do exist. Most of them are just keyboard shortcuts. But anyways, once you're in this Preferences panel under General, you're going to uncheck where it says Show the Home Screen when no documents are open. And that will get rid of that screen as soon as we click OK. But first, we're going to make one more change that will come in handy down the road. I want you to click on Performance over here on the left, and then make sure GPU Performance and Animated Zoom are checked on. And you'll see why here shortly. Go ahead and click OK. And that's going to bring you in here. This is what Adobe calls the Workspace. I was playing around and set it up. So this is what yours will look like. We're going to open up a document, go to File, New, go to Art and Illustration, and choose this 1920 by 1080. We're not really worried about the name right now. We'll give the template a name once we actually save it as a template. The bleed, we're going to set the bleed settings to 10 points. So once you type 10 points into one of these little boxes and either hit tab or click out into this gray area, the rest of them will change to match. And that's because this little link is on, which links all of those values together. If it was disabled and looked like this, you could change each one of these independently. Twirl open Advanced Options. We're going to leave it set to RGB. RGB is the way that screens display color using a mixture of red, green, and blue. CMYK is how printers mix color. So if you were creating something that was going to be printed out quite a lot, you would want to put CMYK here as your selected color mode. So we'll leave it at RGB. Pixels per inch is what PPI stands for. 72 pixels per inch is almost obsolete. I can't think of anybody that's really using it. We're going to choose 150 PPI, which gives you sharper images. The higher pixels per inch, the higher the quality. So you might be wondering, why aren't you just going for the big dog here? Well, first off, on most computer screens, the human eye is not going to see a difference between the two. Secondly, 300 PPI will slow your system down when you start getting into really complex designs with a lot of layers and compound paths, and it takes up more space on your system. So we'll just go ahead and keep it at medium. Everything else we'll leave the same, and then go ahead and click on Create. That'll pop up this white space in front of you, and Adobe calls this your artboard. which, as you probably guessed, this is where we will create our art, and you will eventually create several masterpieces. I'm sure of it. If you have any questions about the content we covered here, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to address it as soon as possible.